how to sell more cars.
Second, I want you to almost meditate. Close your eyes for me. Take a good deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, out through the mouth. Kind of move your head around till you feel perfectly relaxed. And what I want you to think about is I want you to think about in this moment, right here, right now, what are you thankful for? In this moment, what's going on good in your life? We're here. We're all got roofs over our head. We're all in air-conditioned rooms. They're heated rooms. Nobody's cold. Nobody's too hot. Nobody's getting wet. I don't think anybody's hungry today. Everyone's had a good breakfast. What are you thankful for right now, right here on a Monday morning on Zoom with the Nashville Association of Sales Professionals? Think about that. Keep breathing. And I want you to kind of slowly expand that out from this morning to your life in general. What's going on good in your life at this point in your life with your children in college, or with your job, or your ability to pay for the roof over your head and pay for your car and pay for the things you need. What are the good things in your life? And then most importantly, I want you to think about those good things in your life, and I want you to think about the people that are attached to them. Who are the people in your life that make the good things in your life possible? Think about that for a second. Matter of fact, if you wanted to go ahead and write some of this down of what you're thankful for and who you're thankful for. So you have something to work on later, because we're going to work on that. But more than anything, more than what's going on good in your life and who's making the good things possible in your life, I just want you to feel grateful, joyful, like, man, it's good to be alive and living in Tennessee. Ain't it good to be here? I'm grateful for each and every one of you for sticking in and showing up today. So today we're going to talk about what we're grateful for and how to be more grateful and how to express our gratitude. In addition to the book, How to Sell More Cars, I wrote the book, Better Self-Help for the Rest of Us. Jim is a little leery of this book because he says it tells more about Terry Lancaster than you could ever possibly want to know. And it does. It tells everything. All my dirty laundry is right out there in the open with my naked yoga practices and everything else. And it's about improving your life, making your life better one step at a time, mainly by not letting an imaginary there and then screw up a perfectly good here and now. And that is the human condition. That is the human condition that we always want something else. We want something different. We want something that we can't have, something that we don't have. And we spend so much more time thinking about what we don't have that we often forget to be grateful for what we do have. Now, I wrote the book, Better Self-Help for the Rest of Us, and an entire chapter in that book is on gratitude. And that's why I penciled myself in for this meeting today. I wanted to be the speaker because I wanted to speak on gratitude, because I wrote this and 100% believe this to be true. And I'll ask you when we get done, if you agree with this, that the surest path to happiness is spending more time being grateful for what's right in your life and less time worrying about what's wrong. And being grateful for what's right in your life, that brings in every form of complaining and griping is an expression of ingratitude. If you're complaining about your life, you're complaining about your customers, you're complaining about your business, you're not being grateful for them. And business goes where business is invited and business is appreciated. And gratitude has completely changed my life. And that gratitude is the reason I wrote the book. I was sitting just outside on my deck, and my life was in a little bit of turmoil. My business was not doing well. I was not the healthiest thing that I wanted to be. And I was sitting on my deck, and it occurred to me that all the things that were wrong with my life was because I was thinking about what I wanted in my life. I wanted to be this huge success. I wanted to build skyscrapers and make millions. And, I wanted to live the American dream, the outsized American dream that we all want to live. At least that's what I kept telling myself. And the more I kept thinking about those things and striving for those things and struggling to get those things, the unhappier I became. And my life changed the moment that I decided that that wasn't really what I wanted. What I wanted was to make my actual life better. And in order for me to make my life better, I had to start being more grateful for the things that are in my life. And that gratitude expresses itself in lots of different ways. It's emotionally stable. Our mind function is a habit. And it's like there's a thing called confirmation bias. The more you think about a thing, the more that thing is going to appear in your life. And it's not mojo. It's not the attraction. It's not the law of attraction. It's not the secret from the movie. It's 100% purely a function of the way your brain works. If you're spending all of your time thinking about what could go wrong, thinking about things that are not up to par in your life, thinking about things that you do not have, then your mind is a seeking device. Your mind is going to be looking around for those things. If you spend all of your time thinking about what makes you miserable, your mind is going to say, you know what, you're right. There's another one of those things that makes you miserable, and you're going to see them everywhere you go. It's just like if you buy a yellow car and you think you're the only person in the world who drives a yellow car, but the minute you drive off the lot in the yellow car, you're going to see yellow cars everywhere, because the mind sees what you put in it. It's what's there. It's how you find things. And it's like a dirt road. And if you drive down these dirt roads, you're going to, the more you drive down the road, the deeper the ruts on it become. And if you're thinking about being miserable, then those are the ruts that are going to get deep, and that's where the car is going to go. If you're thinking about the things that you don't have and what's wrong in your life, those are where the ruts are going to get deeper, and those are where you're going to go. And happiness is one of those funny things. And the more you strive and seek and reach for happiness, the harder it is to grab onto, because it's always just out of reach. It's always just elusive. But there's one way that I know of to actually bring happiness into your life without striving it, without seeking for it. Happiness is a byproduct of the gratitude in your life. If you can take those dirt deep roads, those ruts that are in the road, and make them ruts thinking about how grateful you are for your family, and how grateful you are for your customers, and how grateful you are for the opportunity to earn money sitting in your bedroom wearing a jacket and no pants, and not have to actually get out into the real world. If you can concentrate on the things that you're grateful for and make those your primary state of existence, makes that your natural language, your native language, and your factory default settings. If your factory default setting is for gratitude, everything's going to suddenly look a whole lot better, especially with your customers. Bob Ritchie coming in, especially with your customers. I talked about this, that business goes where business is invited and where business is appreciated. And as salespeople, we've got the invitation part down. If you go over to the Barnes and Noble, or you log on to Amazon, there are so many books about how to close sales. And there's entire industries, marketing industries and advertising industries and agencies like myself, who are designed, their primary purpose is to get you new customers. We want new customers, because that's what every sales manager wants. We got to get new customers, need new business. We're all about, and in the car business, the closing ratio is the metric above all metrics. How many people did you close? What's your closing percentage? We worry about inviting the new customers into our life, and we spend less time concentrating on the customers that we already have, because again, that's the human default condition. We want the next new shiny thing, because the next new shiny thing is always going to make us happier, whether it's the new car or the new customer. But the truth is, the next new shiny thing isn't always the best thing, because I promise you, your best customers are people who are already your customers. It costs. I've got a joke that I tell when I'm training people, that why do car dealers specifically, why do car dealers, and why do any business spend so much money attracting new customers as opposed to keeping the ones that they have? Why did they spend so much money? It actually, the number is, it costs 7 times more to attract a new customer than it does to keep a customer that you already have. And the joke is they spend so much money because it's so darn expensive. You have to spend money to chase after new customers. It's expensive to bring in new customers, but it is not expensive at all to keep the customers that you have happy. So, we don't have to close our eyes. We don't have to do a full meditation on this, but think about this. If every customer you had now, or just even a hand, for me personally, if a handful of customers that I work with right now were completely all in on my business, they were all in on all of the services that I provide, and they love Terry to death, and they left me great reviews on Google and Facebook and Amazon, and they gave me referrals to their friends and people that they do business with. If every customer I had was all in, I would have more business than I could possibly handle, and I couldn't even accept new customers, much less go out looking for them. And I assume your business is the same way. Your best customers are already your customers, but they're not all in. So if you concentrate your targeting and your marketing on these customers, you've got an opportunity to, the customers that you have, it costs 7 times more to bring in a new customer, but old customers, they close, the numbers I'm familiar with, they close about 4 times faster. The sales cycle is 4 times shorter for customers that you already have, because you don't have to do the dance of getting to know each other, of building the likability factor and building the trust factor, because all of that is already ingrained. The work is already done. They already know you. They already like you. They already trust you. They're just waiting on the reason to do business with you. Closing percentages, we talked about that. Closing percentages skyrocket if you spend more time working with customers that you already have, people who have a prior relationship with you in your business. They close at a much, much, much higher rate than strangers, than new customers, than new prospects. You want to improve your closing ratio, spend more time talking to people who already know, like, and trust you, meaning the customers that you already have. The customers that you already have, you're going to make higher margins on those. They're going to have bigger tickets, and you're going to make more money because they're not shopping the deal to death on the internet, going to Google and Facebook and trying to find the lowest price. I was talking to a guy the other day. He was worried about a penny on a direct mail piece, but he was a guy I didn't know. So guys, people that you know, they're not going to be searching. They don't. A penny on a product is not their primary concern, because it's worth the penny for them to do business with someone that they know they can do business with. So your best customers are already your customers. And we talked about how gratitude can change your life, but here's the flip side of gratitude. And this is the problem that we have, and hopefully the problem that we're going to solve today. We're grateful. Intellectually, we're grateful for our customers. We know our customers. They're the people that let us live in the house, and they're the people that pay our car note, and they're the people that pay the electricity and keep the roof over our head. We're grateful for our customers, but we don't always express it. We don't often say it out loud. It's not just our customers; it's our life too. Our spouses, our children, our parents, and there's a preacher, and I quote him a lot because I end up flipping past his stuff on late night TV. He comes on Channel 4 late night after Saturday Night Live at midnight on Saturday. Andy Stanley's going to be on there. And I saw him one time, and he was talking about, it may have been last Thanksgiving actually when he was doing this. He was talking about gratitude, and we know all the wonderful stuff that gratitude does for us. It makes your life better. It makes the way you perceive the world better. But if all you do is keep it inside, to the people that you are grateful to, unexpressed gratitude feels like ingratitude. If you never say thank you, if you never go out of your way to say thank you and say how much I appreciate it, that is my favorite Southern thing. I've got lots of friends from Canada and up north and moved down here, and we'll go out to eat or something, go through a restaurant. I'm going through line, and when I get there, I say the most Southern thing ever, which is I appreciate you. That's just the way I grew up saying it. So if you don't learn to express the appreciation, if you never say I appreciate you, thanks man, thanks for the business, thank y'all, whatever you want to say, if you never express it, then it goes unexpressed and it goes unfelt because they can't read your mind. If you're not saying thank you so often that they're sick of hearing it, they just begin to assume that it's taken for granted. And more often than not, our old customers are taken for granted because we spend so much time chasing those new customers, chasing the shiny new thing. But if you're spending all of your time and all of your money and all of your energy chasing new customers, chasing that shiny new thing, then your old customers, over time, that unexpressed gratitude starts to feel like ingratitude. And when I was getting ready to do this last night, I said, well, let me just check on Google. I wonder why customers leave. So I went to Google and I asked, why do customers leave? And you go to Google, and this is going to be the top thing, so you know it's true if it's on the internet. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 68% of customers leave because they're upset with the treatment they've received. And often a customer will get the impression of not feeling valued. And this accumulates over a period of time, rather as a result of a specific interaction. So customers leave not necessarily because they bought a product from you that wasn't up to par. Maybe there wasn't a single point that made them discontent. But over time, your inexpression of gratitude, you're just not saying I appreciate you, you're not saying thank you, leads to the feeling of your customers feeling unappreciated and feeling unvalued. And value goes where value is given. And if they're not feeling the love, you ain't going to get the money. So say thank you. It's as simple as that. You have customers now. You have customers that you dealt with. We had a guy here speaking at NASP about a year ago who wrote a whole book on winning back old customers because they're there. So your customers that you have now, your old customers who haven't been in around a while, your family and your friends, say thank you. And this is the start of November. It is the Thanksgiving month, and Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday. It's somehow slightly less commercialized than Christmas. It's before the whole Christmas onslaught, and it's your last chance to really be human because Christmas is so out of control. It's an easy target because you have permission to say thank you for every single person in your life, every single customer in your life now and in the past. Your chance to show appreciation, your chance to develop some new mind ruts in your brain to make you see the great glory of the life that we're living, and to make your customers feel appreciated so that they stick around and don't begin to feel underappreciated, because if they feel underappreciated, they will be gone. So I promised you 17 ways to say thank you. This is another thing I've done in those. One, I send Thanksgiving cards. I send Thanksgiving cards and thank you cards. I've been sending thank you cards. I was 24 years old. I was a sales manager of a radio station in Tupelo, Mississippi, and I bought a stack of cards, and every new customer that the radio station got, they got a thank you card. Whether the biggest customer or somebody spending $20 on sponsoring the high school football game, they got a thank you card from the sales manager, and that made all the difference. And I've been sending thank you cards to customers every day, every month for the last 30 years, no matter what business I've been in, because nothing sells like appreciation. And so that's my favorite way to say thank you, is because it puts it out in the real world, and it gives you some physical touch. We do so much stuff on Facebook and email and digital now that sometimes it also often gets lost. But a physical thank you card or any kind of physical thank you, whether it's a thank you card or a box of brownies or goodies or sending someone a book or anything physical in the world is a physical manifestation of your appreciation. And the more you can bring your appreciation into the physical world, the more it's going to get shared and noticed. I also do a lot of video messaging. I use video messages a couple of different ways. You can send them on Facebook. You can send them on LinkedIn. And you can send them just on text. You can record a video on your phone and shoot it to someone just right there. There's lots of different ways to send a video message. There's even a button to send an audio message on LinkedIn now, and just push the button. And it's just like sending a voicemail, except you never have to wait. You never have to wait to dial the numbers. You never have to wait for the phone to ring. You never have to wait to listen to the outgoing voicemail message that you have. You push a button and say, Bethany, thank you so much for showing up for the NAS meeting today. I appreciate you always being there, boom. And it's there. Took 3 seconds. Took three seconds to express your appreciation. You can do that on audio. You can do it on video if you feel froggy. You can send messages on LinkedIn and Facebook and your other social media. You can send emails. You can send text. Texts are much better than emails because 98% of texts get read within the first 10 minutes that they send. And email gets read whenever people get around to it. So of the 17 ways that you can say thank you that we haven't even covered yet, my favorite 2 are sending thank you cards, sending Thanksgiving cards, and sending video and audio messages over social media. What are your favorite ways to say thank you? Who's up? Hey, Bethany, go ahead.
So I'm like you, Monet is a really good company and they teach old-fashioned thank you notes, whether you get a new customer or like I try and train my team before Black Friday, like, end of October, beginning in November, send a thank you note. And I send samples and they love that. So like if they buy hair care, I might send a skincare, or if they do skin and hair, I might send an energy. So we like to do the little sample of products in the thank you note, but I also do what you do. I'm lit on social media all the time. So I love to do the voice message, or I do that a ton, but people love your visual, like the birth, they'll be like, oh my goodness, no one's done that. Thank you for the birthday. And thank you. So that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like those.
Well, good. Jim Furbush, how do you say thank you?
Well, it's a combination of several things that you've used. I still like the thank you notes, the video. And one thing I do specifically with the video when I thank someone is I try to single out something specific, not, appreciate your continued business and support. It's like, appreciate your business. And I really enjoyed putting together that TV table. Thank you for thinking of me when it came time to have that assembled. And the next thing I know, I'm doing work for their friends because they feel, I don't want to say obligated, that's too strong a word, but they feel, ooh, I need to help, continue to help this guy. So, and I've done this through my whole career. It could be, even when I was in credit, I did the same kind of thing. Mentioning something specific about them.
So it actually, I don't know if obligated is the right word, but that's fairly close. There's a thing called the law of reciprocity, that if you do something nice for someone, it clicks a little button in their brain that I need to do something nice for them. And they look for opportunities to do that. But it's a function of the way the brain works. The brain releases feel-good juice, serotonin, dopamine. You get a thank you card. Everyone wants to feel appreciated. I'm a big believer in the Dale Carnegie system, and one of his main rules is that all people, great and small, want to feel appreciated. It's one of our most ingrained human desires. So if I get a card in the mail that's from Jim Purbush, it says thank you, I get a little shot of happy juice in my brain, dopamine, and it's always like, oh, that's so nice. Jim sent me the card, that's sweet. And somebody, Bethany sent me the video, that's so sweet. I get happy, I smile, and your brain, when you're happy and you smile and you get the happy juice going in your brain is a seeking mechanism. It's going to start looking for more opportunities to smile, more opportunities to feel appreciated. And if I know Jim appreciates me when I send him business, I want to feel appreciated, I'm going to send Jim more business. It's really that simple.
Well, one of the biggest methods of appreciation is if you can refer their business to someone else. wow. I mean, not only are you there, they're working with you, but then you send them or refer, even if it doesn't ultimately work out, we hope it does, but referring business to somebody is a tremendous way to say thank you. I mean, it's hard to come up with something any stronger.
Well, so referring business, the two big ones are referring business to someone and reviewing their business. One of the things I say is find your people and lift them up. When we talk about social media, and we all want to go on Facebook and talk about what our thing is, talk about how fast we can put together the play sets and how our dry hair conditioner is better than the other dry hair conditioners. But the greatest thing that you can do is to promote their business, to send them customers, to send them business, to shine a spotlight on them, to leave them reviews on LinkedIn and Google that they go, oh yeah. And it's just, again, the law of reciprocity. If I send you business or I leave a review for you because I appreciate you, you're going to feel appreciated. You're going to send value, and it starts the feedback loop. How can I get some more of that? That's the good stuff. So send them business, introduce them to people. One of the greatest things you do, we're all networkers. One of the greatest things we can do is to network and introduce them to the people that they want to do. That's why I asked when you came in, who is it that you want to meet? Who can I introduce you to? How can I bring value into your life? Any other? Bob, you've been quiet today. You snuck in at the end. Do you have anything to add? Come in and tell us about yourself.
He's still on mute too. There you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was having difficulties. My PC, right when I was trying to click to go, decided it was going to reset itself. And I guess it's getting slower because it took longer. It seems like it takes longer every time to get back up and everything. So yes, I think basically, I think the thank you is a big part of it, and thank you with the business. So I'm with you guys in that respect. So just wanted to pop in and lend my support to everybody.
Thanks for popping in, Bob. And I talked to your buddy the other day, so we'll get something worked out with him. Who else has anything to add before we get ready to wrap this up today? Sean, April?
In all honesty, I not really much to add because I follow the same formula. Every time that I work with someone, it's always send them a thank you note and potentially a thank you video. Kind of depends on their mode of communication that they like best. And then I usually follow that up with a separate thank you that usually comes about 2 to 3 months after we've done business, where I then will go back in and reflect on something that they said in their conversation with me during that time period. And I like doing that because then I feel like I'm sending it outside of the box, and it's kind of a time that they are not expecting it. And so they've kind of entered my thoughts in a time period where they're not expecting to have entered my thoughts. So that usually leads to subsequent bookings.
Yeah, because sending the thank you when they do business, that seems compulsory, and maybe that's a check in their brain. They go, well, Sean just had to send me thank you for that, or it's part of it. But if you send it a little later and out of the blue for no good reason, it's like, oh, how sweet. And it starts to drive that reciprocity train. So we've got it's Monday, November 7th. We've got 3 more remaining NASPNet online meetings here for the rest of the year. I've got some really good meetings coming up. April, do you know Jason Strain down in Columbia?
I do.
So Jason is a buddy and a client of mine in Columbia. He owns a real estate agency. He just started up from scratch about maybe a year and a half ago, and he's got this really thriving, growing real estate agency there in Columbia. And so up until about a year and a half ago, Jason was a drug dealer. So, well, pharmacist. So he's but he's going to join us to talk about the marketing tools that he used to grow his business, how he went from dealing drugs to owning a thriving, real estate agency in about a year and a half. We're going to learn about that. We're going to learn we're meeting with Dave Castro, who's going to talk about networking, and gentleman by the name of Chris Kelso, a sales trainer from here in Nashville, that's got a new book out. So we've got a couple of good meetings coming up over the next couple of weeks. Jim, what do you have going on in Murfreesboro?
Well, if Zoom meetings, if you really like to meet people in person, in addition to the Zoom meetings, and you're anywhere within a reasonable distance, Sean, you may not want to drive to Murfreesboro. April, maybe, but everybody else has no excuse. You can get to Murfreesboro on the second and fourth Mondays. We meet in the Doubletree Hotel in their restaurant, and it's been slow rebounding from all the shutdown. I think a lot of people are working from home now, and it's like, when they were in their office, it was easy. I can just go over there and pop over and have lunch and network, but to go from home and actually get dressed and go out. So it's been kind of slow, but we've been 10, 12, 14 people sometimes. Great meetings. We've always got interesting speakers. Of course, I never plan and have the list in front of me when we have these calls, despite the fact Terry asks me every single time. Someday I'll figure it out. But, we always have great in-person speaking, great in-person interaction. Please try to make it. I do have, and I don't know, for those people that have attended the Murfreesboro meetings, even the Brentwood meetings, remember Harry Ballard. He was a fixture at these meetings. Poor Harry was diagnosed with cancer and has passed away. So we're all very disappointed to hear that. I don't want to bring a down note to this, but I think it's important that we know this information about our fellow members and people that we have gotten very close to as a result of these meetings. But again, I will take, if you've put in your best email address, I will make sure that you get the invitations for upcoming meetings. Please, please, please pass those along to other people that you meet networking meetings and say, hey, why don't you try jumping on the next Zoom meeting? Or you're right in Murfreesboro, you might enjoy going to these. That's how virtually everybody, there's a few people that have found it here and there on their own, but virtually everybody that attends was invited by someone else.
Hey,
So
Jim,
we're in Murfreesboro at the Burger Bar next Monday, starting at 11. We're back here in 2 weeks at terrylancaster.tv starting at 11:30. Open floor. Who has anything that they would like to add, say, or spit out into the universe? Anybody else have any great networking meetings you want to mention?
not so much that, but as far as Harry, when did he pass away?
It was actually a couple of weeks ago. We found out about it in the last meeting. We were talking about the fact that he hadn't been to several meetings, and Aaron looked it up and did find his obituary. We were kind of afraid of that because he attended more of these meetings than I think Terry and I put together. And then all of a sudden, he disappeared. So I had spoken to him a couple of months ago. He was pretty upset because they couldn't really determine where the cancer was. They had all the markers, and he was funny, and he kept apologizing for missing NASP meetings. So there you go.
Can you put out a mail address? Maybe we can send his wife or family a prayer card or just a remembrance.
I think that would be a great idea. One thing that he did speak at the NASP Murfreesboro meeting earlier this year. It was pretty funny because he brought in all of his Melaleuca products a lot, a number of them were new stock, but a number of them he just brought from his house. And I couldn't help but chuckle and think his poor wife was wandering around the house that day. She got in the shower and her shampoo and conditioner were gone. She went to clean the sink and the soap was gone, and she couldn't wash the floor, mop the floor. It was just funny. And Harry was a great guy. And again, I didn't want to get too deep into this. I know a couple of you have no idea who we're talking about, but he was a tremendous supporter. He was 91, I believe. He was over 90, which was a shock to most people who met him, who knew that he had some years, but that they usually underestimate his age by 10 to 15 years. A pretty healthy, fun, interesting guy.
Yeah,
But I will thank you, Bob. I will try to find that information.
I would put him about 80 years old, but 91, that's a good long ride. So. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for showing up. Sean, thank you for finding us from Facebook and joining us all the way from Sevierville. Thank you, April, for finally popping in. I'm going to keep inviting you. I hope you keep coming in.
Thank you.
Bethany, Bob, Jim, always a pleasure to see you. So go out and tell the people that you love them, and the people that you're thankful for this week. Make sure you thank them. We got about 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. If you just thank one past customer a day for the next few weeks, I promise you it'll make a difference for you. Y'all be good.
Being grateful really becomes a habit.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a house that was a vacant lot in March that we built ourselves, and it was very tough to be grateful at sometimes, when you suddenly realize, wow, it's really coming together. And, I'm so thankful for the people that helped make it happen. And they loved hearing that. A lot of people in the world don't hear thank you for what they do a lot. They hear the complaints for the one little chip in the corner of the one tile, despite the fact they just tiled this huge bathroom or whatever. So your message was spot on today, Terry.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all. Be good. I'll see you next time.
Take care. And Terry, I did save the chat, so I've got that.
Good job, Bob.
Thanks again.